If the convertible you've always promised yourself must be good to drive, affordable to run, and not ridiculously expensive, then this drop-top BMW 1 Series probably needs to be on your wish list. It's not really a four-seater, but for an appealing blend of sense and sportiness, there are few better options. Looking for a convertible? You'd probably like an exotic Cabriolet GT or a luxury roadster, but then that would need a lottery win. Likewise, the thought of a drop-top sports roadster sounds tempting until you consider the cramped cabin, the tiny boot and the rock-hard ride, which is why most buyers of cars of this kind end up choosing between two categories. First, there's a sensible but rather penny-pinching choice, a Golf or Focus-sized family hatchback with a metal folding roof. Nice perhaps, but hardly what you'd always promised yourself. But then the only other option is to take out a second mortgage and buy a cabriolet version of an already expensive BMW 3 Series or Mercedes E-Class sized executive saloon. Fortunately, there is a third way. If you're prepared to sacrifice some of the rear seat space and top-end straight-line performance you'll probably never use in a pricey executive cabriolet, you can get pretty much the same thing in a slightly smaller, sharper to drive and more affordable package. Now, Audi's A3 Cabriolet is one example of this, but the car it copied is the one we're looking at here, BMW's 1 Series Convertible. This, the fourth and prettiest 1 Series body style, is the kind of car you can feel proud of without the taint of overindulgence in these gloomy times. And uniquely rear-wheel driven, it promises fun and fashion in equal measures. Let's check it out. Now, this isn't the best 1 Series to drive, but it is the best handling convertible of its kind by some margin. The rear-wheel drive layout is one reason why. Another is the near-perfect 50-50 front-to-rear weight distribution that offers us such a balanced and entertaining drive. Now, don't get me wrong, suspension that veers on the soft side and slightly vague electric power steering in the more affordable versions are just two of the reasons why this is really more of an elegant mini drop-top GT than an out-and-out sports car. Still, if you're looking for a practical convertible rather than an out-and-out roadster, then you'll find this car's back-road eagerness almost impossible to match in any other car of this kind at this kind of price. Now, that's partly because it doesn't roll around on the twisty stuff like most cabriolets, but there is a predictable price to pay for the body stiffening necessary to achieve this: weight. At 1,615 kilograms, this convertible model is 120 kilograms heavier than a comparable BMW 1 Series Coupe model. And it's heavier even than BMW's much bigger 5 Series Saloon. All of which explains why British designer Kevin Rice wasn't keen to add to all that weight by throwing on the kind of trendy metal folding top that you'll find in a BMW 3 Series convertible. So it's a fabric roof then, and the pretty shape is all the better for it. The roof goes up or down at speeds of up to 25 miles an hour, and when open, airflow is managed well, at least for those at the front. Those in the rear may need a visit to the hairdresser afterwards. Rather impressively, when the top's up, this car is more slippery through the air than the 1 Series Coupe model. Perhaps that's one reason why all 1 Series convertible cars are pretty rapid. Even the entry-level 118i 143 brake horsepower petrol variant making 60 from rest in 9.3 seconds on the way to a top speed of 129 miles an hour. And that's quick enough to perhaps make you think twice about paying extra for the 170 brake horsepower 120i or the 218 brake horsepower 125i models. The top-of-the-range petrol 135i with 306 brake horsepower, however, is in a different league. It's 5.6 second 0 to 60 time virtually as quick as the BMW M3 convertible that will cost you around £23,000 more. An increasing number of 1 Series convertible buyers, however, are opting for diesel, and there's a choice of 3 models, all based around the same 2-litre engine, putting out either 143, 177 or 204 brake horsepower, and badged either 118D, 120D, or as in this case, 123D. Now this 123D is capable of getting to 60 in just 7.5 seconds on the way to a top speed of 143 miles an hour. Like most convertibles, this one looks better with the roof down, but even when you put it up, this 1 Series looks notably more stylish than its fabric-topped Audi A3 competitor and the massed ranks of metal folding roof rivals. The distinctive horizontal 1 Series shoulder line runs from the front of the bonnet through these long frameless doors and on to the tip of the boot lid. The roof itself takes 22 seconds to go up or down, and there are nice touches like a convertible setting for the air conditioning when you do have the top down. Now, as far as the roof material is concerned, it comes in classic black or beige shades, or as a world first, there's an innovative anthracite silver fleck, which is a fabric material interwoven with shiny metallic fibres. Inside, everything is appropriate to the kind of fit and finish you'd expect in a £25,000 car, though it can be just slightly gloomy with the roof up thanks to those huge rear C-pillars. Now BMW, rather ambitiously, reckons there's room for a couple of full-sized adults in the back here on an everyday basis, but that kind of space really is the preserve of larger BMW 3 Series or Audi A5 sized cabrios from the next class up. In reality, these chairs are really only appropriate for small children or friends who are hitching a lift home from the pub with you. And you'll lose them altogether if, like most buyers, you allow a couple of £100 extra for the optional wind deflector that really does make a lot of difference to the amount of buffeting you get in the cabin when driving al fresco. In the boot, you've got 305 litres of space. That's provided you push this roof container out of the way. If you want the roof down, you'll need to pull it back, and that means you lose 45 litres of space, but there's a still respectable 260 litres on offer, enough for a large golf bag or perhaps a weekend away. List prices suggest that you'll be paying somewhere between £23,000 and £33,000 for your BMW 1 Series convertible. Now, direct comparisons with this car's most obvious rival, Audi's A3 Cabriolet, are difficult because the two cars offer different power outputs at different levels. But depending on the variant you're looking at, you're probably looking at a premium around £500 to £2,000 for this BMW. And many buyers will think that justified for a car that's better to drive and better looking top up. Many will also be tempted by the fact that in lower order 1 Series convertible models at least, you're not paying that much more than you would be for a plush version of a family hatchback-based cabrio. Another way of looking at it is that this car is £6,000 cheaper than a BMW 3 Series convertible with exactly the same engine. Now, the 1 Series convertible range is based around either 2-litre 4-cylinder or 3-litre 6-cylinder power. 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol customers get the same engine in different states of tune with either 143 or 170 brake horsepower in the 118i or 120i models. But most buyers at this level opt to pay the £1,000 model for model premium and get a 2-litre diesel. Now here you've got a choice of 3 power outputs, either 143, 177 or 204 brake horsepower with either the 118D, the 120D, or as here, the 123D models. That leaves the beautiful sounding 3-litre 6-cylinder petrol engine that comes in either 125i form with 218 brake horsepower or in extremely rapid twin turbo guise in the 306 brake horsepower 135i. There's a huge options list, of course, but standard equipment runs to all-round electric windows, air conditioning, alloy wheels, and auto headlamps and wipers. Safety-wise, there's stability control and the very latest electronic braking aids. But if all of that isn't enough to stop you having an accident, there are twin front and side airbags to protect the head and body of all occupants with the roof up or down. Plus, there's further protection provided by metal bars that spring up in milliseconds from behind the back seats should the car be about to roll. As with all the premium brands, you have to offset high initial asking prices against low depreciation. Since most cars of this kind are bought on leases, that process will often be done for you. All 1 Series convertible models benefit from BMW's Efficient Dynamics program, which means that they have lower CO2 and more efficient fuel consumption than any of their rivals. Now, this effectively works through a combination of clever ideas. Brake energy regeneration, for example, recovers engine power that would normally be lost in engine overrun or during braking. Then there's the auto start-stop system, which stops the engine when you're at traffic lights or in heavy traffic to save fuel. Now, the result of all this is that this BMW will cost you between 5 and 10% less to run than a comparable Audi A3 Cabriolet. And there are even greater savings to be made over family hatchback-based cabrios, depending on the model you choose. An entry-level 118i petrol 1 Series convertible returns around 42.8 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and puts out 153 grams per kilometre of CO2, while its 118D diesel counterpart manages 57.6 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and 129 grams per kilometre of CO2. Insurance groupings range between 12 and 18. This 1 Series is so much nicer than a run-of-the-mill open-top family hatchback, without requiring the kind of outlay in price or running costs demanded by the kind of BMW 3 Series size convertible that in the real world doesn't really offer a whole lot more. Here then is a drop top that hasn't dropped the ball. No other practically sized convertible in the £15,000 to £30,000 bracket is as good a steer as this one, or as cheap to run. If you can stomach the upfront investment, then this car is a choice that ticks most of the other boxes. And importantly for a convertible, it makes you feel good about doing it.